So guys, we continue discussing price elasticity of the demand curve and total revenue. So in this example, we have the same demand for the websites. And when we charging $200 for each website, we selling 12 of them. And if we increase price to $250, then quantity decreasing to 10 units. Guys, remember the bottom line, what we want to understand, that if we increase the price of the product, we're getting more money for each unit that we're selling. That's one point. From the other point, since we increase the price of the product, we're going to sell less units based on the law of demand. So which effect is bigger? Is your total revenue still going to increase because we're getting more money for each unit, or because we're selling less units, total revenue can actually decrease? So, and this is what we're trying to understand in this example. Remember that total revenue is equal price multiplied by quantity. So therefore, if price is equal to 200, so we're trying to calculate total revenue at 2 price points, okay, at 2 price points. So if price is equal to 200, then remember quantity is equal to 12, and quantity is equal to 12, then our total revenue is going to be price multiplied by quantity, 200 multiplied by 12, and we will have 2400. So we know that from the previous video. Now, if price equal to 250, so here you go, we increase the price and quantity is equal to 10, then our total revenue, remember it's price multiplied by quantity, we have 250 multiplied by 10, then our total revenue is equal to 2500. So when we increase the price of the product, we sell in 10 units. My question is, guys, what happened with total revenue if to compare with initial one? Total revenue in this scenario actually increased. So now our goal is we need to take all this information and we need to calculate price elasticity of this demand curve, and we're going to make a conclusion how this total revenue and elasticity related. So remember our bottom line, we need to find price elasticity of the demand curve. Remember this is percentage change in quantity demanded over the percentage change in price. So we are going to use midpoint method to calculate the elasticity of this demand curve. Let's suppose we're going to start with quantity. First, what we need to do, we need to find midpoint quantity. Again, guys, probably just looking at these numbers, okay, it's very easy. You can just look at the graph and say, well, midpoint is 11. Yes, you're right. I usually like write it down for my students. Remember, we add the numbers together to find a midpoint for quantity demanded. We need to add numbers together, divided by 2. Again, why do we divide by 2? Because we're trying to find the midpoint between two numbers. So it's going to be 22 divided by 2, or midpoint is 11. Now, percentage change in quantity demanded. Now we take the difference between two numbers. Guys, I usually take higher number, subtract the lower number, and remember we divided by 11 by this midpoint. So, and if you're going to calculate it, I believe it's going to be 0.18 or 18%. 0.18 or 18%. So that's the change for our quantity. Guys, I'm going to write this down, midpoint for price, but we already know this from the previous video, but I'm still going to do the calculation. So midpoint price, let me do this, price, midpoint price is equal 250 plus 200 divided by 2, and it's going to be 225, and then percentage change in price. Now we take the difference between two numbers. So hopefully by now you will be able to calculate midpoint or price elasticity of the demand curve using a midpoint in your sleep, because we did so many examples over here. So divided by 225, and if you're going to calculate it, remember it was 0.22, that might 0.22 or 22%. Okay, so guys, before we're going to plug the numbers in their formula, again, we're going to kind of do the analysis. So our quantity demanded changed by 18% only. Our price changed by 22%. Can you just look at these two numbers and tell right away, is this demand elastic or inelastic? So proportionately, quantity demanded moved less than the price. So customers are not sensitive to a price change, because price increased by a lot, quantity demanded decreased by less than the price. What kind of elasticity are we going to have? It's going to be inelastic demand, isn't it? So if I'm going to put 18% percentage change for quantity divided by 22% percentage change in price, then it's going to be 0.81. That is, remember, this is less than 1, and therefore it's going to be inelastic demand. So remember, why did we want to calculate this elasticity? Because we want to make a conclusion. So here you go. For inelastic demand, when we increase the price of the product from 200 to 250, what happened with the total revenue? Total revenue had actually increased. So therefore our conclusion is going to be, I'm going to do it on the next slide. So conclusion is that for inelastic demand, if price of the product is increasing, then total revenue is going to increase. And guys, remember, it's vice versa. If we're going to decrease price of the product for inelastic demand, then total revenue is going to decrease. So this is the rule that you need to remember for the exam. Guys, if you are a future business owner, you can apply this rule, to the products that you actually selling. Remember, I'm going to put over here that for elastic demand, if price is increasing, then total revenue is going to decrease, and vice versa. If price is decreasing, then total revenue is increasing. You can apply to your everyday life if you're a business owner and see what do you need to do with the price of the product. If your product has this lower elasticity, remember, this is the product that is a necessity, something that people cannot get without. Okay, this is going to be remember, like your broad market, and it's going to be something in the short run. So if you think that you can increase total revenue or if you think that your product is inelastic, then you can increase the price and you can increase your total revenue. But then if you're selling some kind of, remember, luxury product that people can get by without, remember, if this is a very, very narrow market, so just analyze your product. What kind of elasticity your product have that you are selling? If you want to try increase your total revenue by increasing the price of the product, are you going to be successful? Probably not. Really quick, I'll tell you the story that my student, after I covered this chapter in this total revenue theory, she came up to me and she said, Miss Bowen, I actually now understand what's going on with my business. So she was an older lady, and she had a job, but she had a business on the side with her husband, where her husband, he would go to birthday parties and different corporate meetings, and he would entertain, he would sing and dress up as different celebrities, and he will perform and entertain the crowds, I guess, during birthday parties and celebrations. And she said, well, we we increase the price of our bookings, you know, I don't know, they maybe charge for hour, or they charge for, I don't know, set or something like that. So they increase the price of the product. Just think about entertainment. Entertainment, this is a luxury product. So therefore, the price for entertainment goods, it's going to be relatively elastic. So she said, we increase the price of our bookings, and I don't know if it is per hour or per maybe 3 or 4 hours that they were charging. And she said, all of a sudden, nobody is booking anything. She said, total revenue has actually decreased. She said, we were not making any money. And she like looked at this and she's like, yeah, you know, this entertainment, this is actually a luxury product. I can't increase the price because people are just not going to book that. So I don't know what she did, what kind of decision she made about her business, but she actually applied this theory, you know, to her business. And you can do as well if you're a future business owner. Okay, guys, I'm going to stop over here. Good luck with everything. I hope you understand, you know, a little bit more about elasticity, and I know you can crush it, and I know you can, you know, be a really good analyzer, I guess, of economics.